Yeah, my forehead is shiny.
It's part of The Shining.
Whatever, fuck it. We'll do it live. I'm done. I tried. I've been sitting here for 20 minutes trying to get this to go. All right.
My name's Lex. That's Brian. And that's Steven. And we got nothing today. So Brian, do you want to tell them some food spots to go to?
Hey, Brian, you want to tell us some food?
Hey, tell them some food, dog.
All right, hold on. Should I have this ready?
No, yeah, we took a couple weeks off, mainly because of
And you think we'd come back with more to say?
right? Yeah, there's a bunch.
All right.
But yeah, we gave a couple weeks off to the fourth mic as well. We're just coming in hot, coming in fresh, well rested.
The Mandalorian's still good. That's some news.
Mandalorian's still good. Yeah, we're gonna planning on review
so
it.
if you watch the first or the episode when I bring up that we're gonna start doing a Mandalorian review, I actually make a joke that I say that we're gonna get too lazy and we're gonna end up doing a full season review instead of just doing episode reviews. And it looks like we're gonna do a full season review at this point. So
Yep. Up until now, I believe what is there, like 2 episodes left? 3.
Yeah.
So
2 to 3.
So yeah, so the mid-season review is now turned into a full season review, and I also messed up by I think like 2 weeks after that episode, like I hit up Brian. I was like, oh crap, I forgot to give Steven my login info, and Brian's like, oh, don't worry, I already gave it to him. I was like, and like I already knew, like this is where the bad guy stuff.
I think the only thing that makes it a bad guy move is that night you're like, hey, I'll send it to you so you can watch it, and then totally ghosted me.
No, not only that, but I think later in the night, I even texted you like, "Hey, so you didn't ask me? Did you want the login info or not?" And you're just like, "Yeah," I said yes.
Yeah.
And I still didn't give it to you. Like I gave you attitude.
No, yeah, okay. So we talked about it here when we were doing our wrap up little video, and then we got off. An hour later, you're like, "Hey, do you still want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, send it." And then you never sent it after that. You just ghosted me. You left me on red. Good show, though. Good show.
Yeah. It was fun times.
Brian is a gentleman and a scholar. So.
He is a gentleman and a scholer. But where does Brian eat? Where's his favorite place to eat?
Outback Steakhouse.
Where does Brian not eat?
Where does Brian not eat?
Ike Sandwiches. Sandwiches that will change your outlook on life because we're that good. 500 amazing options. Vegetarian, meat, vegan, gluten-free. We got you. www.loveandsandwiches.com @Ike Sandwiches on Instagram. And
Side note, Brian. Oh, well, we did eat there today. Sorry. Side note, I was gonna say is Brian. He's evolved over the years. Back in junior high, Brian and I would go to Subway down the street from our junior high school, and we would spend like 4 to 6 hours in Subway Monday through Friday after school. The workers there knew us by name.
If it was summer,
they knew everything about us.
If it was summer break and we literally had no plans, we would be in that Subway literally for the 12 hours it's open.
Yeah, we literally we got it one sandwich and we would sit there for 5-6 hours and just mess around with the staff.
Yeah,
I was about to say, did they hate you guys or were they? You're like, whatever, they're cool.
I think some days they were cool, like they were chill with it because we were entertaining. Working at Subway, you're probably like, fuck, I don't want to go to work today. But we entertained them, and then some days I think they just fucking hated us.
There was one lady. This is kind of an interesting story because there's this one lady, an older lady who was really upset at us while we did all this.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then she left for a while, and then she made her The Rock come back. But she came back.
That's all dirty. That's kind of embarrassing.
As we were adults. And then so I think me and Steven had a basketball thing, so we were like, oh, let's go to Subway. We went to the same Subway we went to when we were kids. And she was there. She's all asking us what we're up to, and like it's weird because we're like mature now, and then if we saw at our age now people acting like teenagers acting like how we did, and that's how we would be like, what the hell are these guys doing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, seriously.
It's weird, yeah, because she like, she'll see me. I'll go to that Subway occasionally for lunch, and she'll ask me, "Oh, how's your job? And how's this?" And like, it's funny how we made an impact.
When I used to work at the thrift store, and she would sometimes come by and drop things off and ask me a bunch of questions, and I'm just like, man, it's weird now because if she wanted to, she could have just messed with my whole work day if she wanted to. It's like that's what I did to her.
And it's not like we weren't shitheads and we didn't like make a mess and throw shit everywhere and stuff. We literally would just sit in the booth and talk to them.
Yeah.
Like we would ask them like, oh, like, do you like school? Or because some of them, were in school at the time, or hey, do you like your job? Or what do you hate about your job? Like we would just ask them random questions.
And for the most part, I think we were quiet when customers came in.
And when customers came in, yeah, we let them handle. And then once they left, we went back to talking to them. I couldn't tell you why we did this. I have no idea.
No.
The golden days of high school.
Junior high.
It's funny because when I think about it.
Oh, junior high? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a phase when we would go play basketball every day. And then there's also a phase where we literally went to Subway every day.
Dude, freaking speaking of high school, remember so when Brian and I would hang out like all the time during like the summer breaks and stuff like that, and it'd always be like me, Brian, and Mike, RIP, and there'd be a lot of moments where it's always a variation of us three or whatever. So it was like a lot of times where it's just me and Brian, and we would walk everywhere. And so like I think we would also walk to like the Ralphs and get those sandwiches. But remember the time when we walked from your house to the Ralphs and we were about to cross like the major street to get to it, and for some reason there's like a cat that popped out right like of the house, like one house, like, oh hey look, it's a cat like from out of the bush, and then it's like one of those things where like it's like an optical illusion, like when you go to the other side, you just like so much more of the story is revealed. So like as soon as we passed that bush, for some reason we just saw like 17 cats, like
all one cul-de-sac, just stared at us.
The same cul-de-sac, all looking at us. And we're like, oh shit! Like, wow. we halfway like started running, and
it was an army of cats.
Yeah, dude. Ever since that day, we called it the army of cats, and we don't know why it happened, but it did. Speaking
of this geographical area, well, I'm going to refrain from using names, but this is a story of how bad of a person I must have been and me and Steven were. So we went to Subway with a friend of ours. and do we know where this is going?
Yeah, I think I do know where it's going.
So this friend of ours, we'll call him Greg. So who ordered their sandwich first? Was it you, Steven?
It was me, yeah.
So Steven orders his sandwich. He's almost done. And then it's Greg, and then it's me. So Greg starts ordering his sandwich. And
I'm just picturing like a 34-year-old like middle-aged white guy, just like like dress pants and like a tie, like hanging out.
And then it's me. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to order my sandwich, and then Greg just falls to the floor, and he was having a seizure, and
or something to that effect.
He passed out, and this
was during the summer, and it was pretty hot outside.
Right. So
and I don't think Greg ever drank water, to be honest.
So his head's kind of bobbing a little bit as he's going to the ground, and then I'm like, hey dude, what are you doing? You're embarrassing me.
God.
This whole time, and this was during the era where we would go to Subway every day and hang out for hours.
Right. So these are our guys across the counter.
Yeah. So Brian's like, hey dude, you're embarrassing me, right? Not knowing that Greg passed out. And so, like, we're looking at each other.
Because I thought he was just trying to do some funny thing to my shoe.
With his lips, or?
Yeah, like I thought he was pretending to eat my shoe or something. I'm like, hey, dude, what are you doing? Like, come on, man, not in front of my friends.
Gosh.
And then everyone starts freaking out and rushing towards.
Except us?
Yeah, Steven's still at the table. He's getting his drink. I'm like, hey, man, like, I still order my sandwich. And like 4 or 5 people rushed to him to help him out. And yeah.
And Brian's just looking at him on the floor, dude.
Dude, Brian was just like locked in, like just like zoned in.
And so they pick him up, right? 2 adults pick him up. Because again, this is while we're in junior high. So 2 adults pick him up and set him on like the booth, and his like mouth is like bleeding because I think he like knocked it or he bit his lip or something.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then so they gave him some water, and we did a pretty good job of not using the real name of the story. I think
You did.
I thought Steven was about to slip right there. I was like, oh
no.
Yeah. And they gave him some water. I think he ended up still ordering a sandwich, and then he was fine.
Nice.
But yeah, that's the story of us being bad people, but at the same time, like,
that's wild. That's wild. Speaking of reminiscing, what's our first topic?
So we thought for the end of the year we would do some 2019 stories that we either did not cover or we did cover, but since it's the end of the year, we don't have too much to talk about. So
a nice little end of the year wrap up.
So I didn't even know it was recording earlier, but I was trying to look up a James Charles story. I know he did something this year.
I'm telling you, it's the story that you told us like 6 months ago during Coachella.
Well, he did something more controversial that made him lose followers. What was it?
Oh damn, I wouldn't even know.
Oh, okay. So that's a 2019 story.
Okay, so that's a 2000. Yeah, so that's one. Our first one was just speculation. We don't even know that happened.
I didn't even know James Charles was a person until that story came out, and I don't even remember what it was.
I remember that. I remember you saying that. And then the story that I brought up is just it ended up being false anyways, the Coachella one. But
he's a pretty good-looking dude.
Dude, not bad. I mean, he cleans up well. But
come on, guys, please don't start with that.
All right, Boomer.
Yeah. Speaking of Coachella, have you guys ever been to Coachella or anything like it?
Just rock the bells.
Yeah.
I have a weird rule where I don't go to like festivals unless they're for free.
Yeah, same here. I have a hard time paying for a festival, and anytime anyone's ever tried to get me to go, like, oh, you got to go to Coachella this year or EDC, like save up or whatever. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna. Like, I'm not into saving up, for festivals. I'm in the same boat. It kind of has to be free. Connection through connection.
I'm 29. I have a kid. I can't go to a festival.
Speaking of festivals,
you a young ass dad, fam.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of festivals, what's the topic you want to talk about today, Lex?
Oh, I don't know why. I don't know. Something triggered this memory, or not memory, but like I was just thinking about like how like at raves when they had those people with like the gloves with lights on them, and like I was just thinking about how
the ones that give light shows, right?
Yeah, they give light shows. They used to, or maybe they still do. And just like random people and it's because I think I saw it on someone's Instagram story recently where the person was just like, oh, like, like all in awe of it and mesmerized and like enjoying it. I'm just like, oh, and I was just kind of thinking like, what a douchebag like thing to do, like just like to random people and just, like, an idea.
Random story. So when I was about like 16, gonna be 17, Greg, our friend Greg, the same Greg that passed out, he DJs. And so he was DJing at one of these all age clubs in San Bernardino, right? And he's like, hey, like, can you give me a ride and I'll get you in for free or whatever, right? So me, Greg, and another homie went. And so Greg ended up not having as much pool as he thought he had. And so we couldn't get in for free. So right next door to this like all age hip hop club was an all age rave, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so me and the other guy go to this rave, and this is my first rave ever, okay? Like I've never been to a rave. Like I always pictured raves in barns and stuff, right?
Barns?
Yeah, like a barn rave, like in an abandoned like warehouse or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, everyone registers like farmers only. Like
and so I go in there and there's a guy giving a light show, right? Like this guy just doing with his hands, right? Yeah. And so I thought it was the coolest thing ever, right? I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool. Like he's got little lights on his fingers and he's doing things to people. And I'm 17. I didn't know like everybody was drugged out and stuff. I'm all sober over here. And so I was like, oh, that's cool, man. He's like, yeah, you want a light show, bro? And I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, this is my first time ever experiencing, like what a rave or a light show is. But, I guess you have to be on drugs for it to be like entertaining,
Yeah.
If you have like ADD or something.
Yeah, for real.
The closest thing that I ever went to was when I did press at Nocturnal Wonderland. I want to
That was some good content too. We gotta repost some of that content for the Ash Instagram, because those are some of my favorite gray area TV content.
So what I used to do at this stage was I would have a whiteboard. I'd ask people questions, and then they would answer on the whiteboard, and we would take a picture. That was how I did my press back then. And so I'd go up to the most dehydrated people at this thing, and I'd ask them a question, and they're all pretty good sports. There's some people that were just like so high that they were confused at what was going on, and it was really like not that entertaining. It was like in the middle of September, so it was warm, and like they would announce like, hey, DJ guy is coming up. And then they're like, if you don't like this DJ, there's another DJ on the other stage. And then I would go to the other stage, and it sounds like the other DJ. And yeah, it was a very interesting time. It was
that sums up your rave experiences.
Yeah, because to be honest,
one and done.
Yeah.
One and done.
He went into the major leagues after. Freaking but yeah, shouts out to we got to post some of those for sure on the Ash Instagram, and then shouts out to MC Prototype, our boy Will, because I believe it was you and Will who started the gray area, and then also shouts out to Will and his wife Janine for starting Vital Pomona. Vital Pomona. We believe everyone has a gift. Some just need help finding it. You can catch Vital Pomona at Vital Pomona on Instagram. And they are located in downtown Pomona, 266 West 2nd Street, Pomona, California. So stop by. They throw like mad events. And they had a huge one with like the craft beer one that I'm like kind of bummed that I missed. Hopefully they do that again soon. I guess it's called like the craft beer exchange. And they had the place like packed out, and it looked like a good time. So if they have it again, I got to go to the next one. But yeah, check it out. No. Vital Pomona. He said no.
Another 2019 story. Speaking of
side note, Brian took a college course on beer. So.
Oh, you did? He said no?
Which was, we were talking about it because we have a group chat with Jesse. Jesse's on the MMA podcast. That's why
was he in that class with you?
Yeah, so me and Jesse took this class, and we were both like, it's easy units. We're just going to get through it. And it ended up being really annoying because we had to do a lot of work, and we were kind of frustrated. And we ended up having like, so we were supposed to create groups. And what happened was me and Jesse just did not want to make a group with anybody in the class. We just stayed back and like, let's just chill with us two. We'll just be in a group, us two. We didn't want anybody else in a group, but the professor was like, professor my ass. He didn't like, I don't even think he went to school. He was like, no, you have to have a group of 4. So me and Jesse were like, all right, well, at least let's just find a third person. We see this guy in the very front of the class just by himself. And we're like, that guy looks like he's going to put a lot of work into this group. Me and Jesse could just chill. We'll put our 2 cents in. This guy's going to carry, like those guys who are like really on top of things. It doesn't mean he's going to do all the work. He's just going to be on top of it for us. That's what we needed, because we needed to focus on our own stuff. Jesse likes to spend a whole week to himself doing his finals. I was starting my senior thesis. So we had other plans than just this beer class. And then we ended up getting another guy who missed like half the quarter, and he's in a fraternity or whatever, and he was off doing that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So he'd only come to class if we had something to do. And then, so one of my favorite stories is we ended up finding out the guy in the front of the class doesn't do anything, and then me and Jesse still had to do everything. And we have a 15-minute presentation. I kill it for like 8 minutes. Jesse pulls off a solid 4. Our friend who's in the fraternity kills it for a good solid 2. We're at 14 minutes now. We just need that 1 minute, and we just pass it to that guy. We're like, he's gonna take it. You just need to say words for a minute, and we pass.
What was his presentation on?
So it was on. We had to do a beer culture, and we did it on hipsters in Pomona.
Nice.
So like we talked about like the hipster bars and then the hipster bands that come in and stuff like that. So we gave the bands the topic on music to the fraternity guy. I don't know what. Steven went on fraternity leave.
Fraternity.
And then I forgot what Jesse did, and then I think mine was specifically like on the beer or something like that. Well, I think mine was on the bars. Jesse's was on the beer.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we pass it to this guy. I'm like, hey, you just need to do a minute. We don't even know what his thing was on because he didn't even talk to us. He didn't even tell us in the group chat. He wasn't even part of the slides, but we just assumed he had a minute of material. That's all he had. And then he goes and he just talks for like 45 seconds. We're 15 seconds short. And not only is it like he just stopped talking and then one of us said that we're done, he said that we were done. He was like, and that's our presentation. And we were like 15 seconds short.
What was your reaction like when you were
all 3 of us were just turned to him. It was just like, we ended up getting a B instead of an A or something like that.
That's wild.
And yeah, and he walked off like he killed it.
Wow.
And imagine he's like one of the few fans we have.
Yeah, I know. He's
We didn't say any names, so
we get one less viewer.
Yeah.
So we're at 2 views.
Kind of sounds like our podcast here.
Yeah, right. This one specifically. So the last 2019 event that we want to recap, I think, was the Area 51 raid. Number 1. So yeah, now that it's passed and like we're in December, kind of looking back on the year, what did you guys think of the Area 51 raid?
The Area 51 raid give head into Coachella?
Allegedly, but then it was proven to be false. So
was it proven though?
My bad.
I don't know. Actually, you're right. It probably wasn't proven. But
you know what though, the Area 51 raid gave us some dank memes.
Yes.
Yeah, it did.
If nothing else, it gave us memes. So was that it on the list?
Speaking of memes, how do you guys feel about Lizzo twerking?
Oh,
don't get me started. You can't get me started on these topics, man.
I know. Yeah, Brian's trying to get.
I'm a conservative dad now. So.
I'm trying to bait Steven.
That's a loaded question.
Oh man,
that's wild.
Yeah, and then I felt like the actual Area 51 raid the day of was kind of a disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What day was it supposed to happen? Like the 20th or something?
September 20th, I think.
I forgot what I went to the USC Utah game that day, so I was like, oh, I'm not going to see
it. Was like a week or it was the week.
It was the week before.
After,
Steven and I were in Vegas.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was going to the game and I was like, oh, I'll probably see what happened at the raid when I get home. And then I came home and it was just like, the one thing was the news reporter with the person doing the Naruto run.
Oh, that was pretty good. Yeah.
That was about it.
Yeah.
Dang.
Another 2019 event that happened was Steven getting visually violated in the restroom in Vegas.
James Charles or?
Come on! You're just opening up old wounds. PTSD right now.
No, it was from like that 6'8", like 6'8" height wise, not his, because it was like Mr. Olympia weekend. Yeah. And it was like Mr. Olympia weekend, so everyone that weekend was just like big and bulky.
Thanks.
I'm opening old wounds right now. My bad.
And
have nightmares.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, I guess like if we're all gonna have our own personal 2019 things, I guess one of the biggest things that happened for me in the world of entertainment was AEW.
Ooh.
Because like wrestling's totally different now.
That's true. Because even then, WWE is getting better because of it.
Right.
Even if it's exactly. Even if it's not like the best product out right now. Crazy.
Yeah.
What else?
And someone who doesn't like global warming is the Time Person of the Year, something like that.
Oh
How
man.
do you feel about that, Steven?
Stop trying to bait me.
Dude, bro, I was like, Steve's like,
Okay.
and I'm like,
How do you feel about the Sports Person of the Year?
You're trying to bait me again, or
oh man. I think that was it, right? On the list, anyways.
Can you guys think of anything that's happening in 2019 that's important? I guess Trump being impeached, but that's
Yeah, and it's funny because this is like the one thing we did prepare beforehand on the pre-show, and we couldn't really like form a good list because just any like Google search we did on like top 2019 events, right? And any way we worded it, like the first like three were always like, oh, deaths and like massacres, and we're just like, oh,
yeah.
like shootings.
we don't want to end the year off like that, yeah.
Natural disasters, and we're like, hey, can you just tell us something that like fun happened?
Yeah.
Austria passed same-sex marriage.
Something that's something fun.
That's something
fun.
positive. I'm going to confirm if it's Austria real quick. Could have been Australia.
Austria. Oh wait, you're right. I don't know.
I think I read Austria,
Mm-hmm.
but
You said Austria in the pre-show also.
I also thought I was in the pre-show earlier, but according to, I guess, what's this?
That's gonna be the intro, man. That's gonna be the intro.
It's Austria.
It's Austria, yeah.
Didn't Australia do something too?
Yeah, they probably like, I don't know, probably like.
For our UK viewers, Boris Johnson's a thing. So imagine this is where people get their news. Like, according to Ash, Boris Johnson's a thing.
Right now, this is the part of the podcast where, like, you know that Joker meme where he's like riding a skateboard and he like completely eats it, like, like all fast, like we're just like skating right now. It's like try to find an end. But
Brian pouring his gallon jug into a cup, it just made my day. You got Lex in the corner just chugging right from his gallon jug, and then you have Brian who softly opens up his gallon, pours it into his cup, and takes it all down.
Turns into the I was about to say the Arnold guy, Terminator.
The Arnold guy.
Oh man.
Oh, yes.
Damn. But
we should start coming out with our own little news headlines, and then we'll just quote it from what we say in the show. Like,
yeah.
Boris
that's what I was. Yeah.
Boris Johnson's a thing.
According
to the Awkward Side Hug. Okay, according to Awkward Side Hug News, Boris Johnson's a thing.
Yeah, we're gonna have like a bunch of people like fail like at their essays because they get illegitimate sources from a YouTube video.
I guess James Charles did something at Coachella.
According to Brian Hammond. James.
I don't know why I'm so on the James Charles thing. I know, because I can't remember what he did. And I tried to look it up right at the last minute before the show, but it was too late.
But yeah, I feel like this is a good time to say goodbye.